So we reached a plea agreement with Rebecca Haro. She pled guilty to child abuse resulting in great bodily injury to a child under 5. She pled guilty to involuntary manslaughter, and she pled guilty to being accessory to murder after the fact.
Can you elaborate how you believe Emmanuel died?
Yeah, so had we gone forward with our hearing today, you would have heard that multiple doctors from Loma Linda viewed all of the photographic and digital evidence we had of Emmanuel throughout his life, and their opinion was the most likely cause of his death was abusive head trauma over an extended period of time. Obviously, there would have been difficulties in proving a definitive cause of death because we do not have Emmanuel's body, but we were able to piece together most of his life through digital and photographic evidence such that the doctors were confident that this was abusive head trauma.
Where do you get these photos and videos?
Most of it came from the Haro's electronic devices.
Do you know when she was sentenced?
She was sentenced today.
What did she receive?
12 years, 8 months in prison.
Could you please repeat what you first said at your victim impact statement, for lack of a better term? So now we can record what you said.
You'd like for me to read it again?
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, I don't have it in front of me. If you have other,
Could you get the gist of it?
yeah. So I will tell you the spirit behind what I said in court,
Yeah.
which was that Rebecca Haro is going to prison because she failed as a mother. She may not have put her hands on Emmanuel, but she knew that Jake was, and she had a responsibility to intervene, and she chose repeatedly not to. The law holds parents, all of them, responsible. She failed, and she deserves to be where she is today.
The filing you had the other day, you laid out kind of a, I don't want to say exotic, theory of second degree murder implied malice, but you said it was an unusual one. Did that affect? Did that help make this happen today? Do you think? Do you know for sure?
Yeah, that had nothing to do with it. It's an unusual theory of murder because it's unusual for parents to kill their children and for mothers to watch it happen. That's why it was unusual. The law itself is not.
How did this come together today?
Well, it was, I think, an understanding on both sides of what this case was and what the evidence was. And I sort of walked through in my statement in court what each charge that she pled to reflects in terms of her conduct.
Can you say that again, please? Because you said one was before, one was like current, and one was after.
Yeah, so like I said, I believe the evidence is that Emmanuel died as a result of prolonged and persistent abusive head trauma. And for that, Rebecca pled guilty to child abuse and causing great bodily injury. And then I think that child abuse ultimately resulted in Emmanuel's death, and that's why she pled guilty to manslaughter. And I think after Emmanuel's death, as I said in court, Rebecca, as opposed to acting like a mother, she acted like a victim, and she told a bunch of lies that just made things worse. And she led these detectives all over the county, all over the state, when they could have been bringing Emmanuel home and holding Jake responsible for what he did. And so for that, she pled guilty to an accessory after the fact of the murder.
Why wasn't she charged with filing a false police report?
She was charged with that. She didn't plead to that. It's essentially the same thing. She filed a false police report, and that's how she was an accessory after the fact. So it's subsumed in that charge.
Are you satisfied with the sentence?
There's nothing satisfying about this case. I think the best we could hope for is to bring Emmanuel home, give him some peace, and we're not accomplishing that today. And we're not bringing Emmanuel back. This is the best the law allows in this situation, but there's nothing satisfying about it.
When you're doing a plea agreement like this, can you make them provide information? For instance, the location of the baby?
I can't make them do anything. Justice is something that has to be fought for. And if I believed that I could have gotten that location of Emmanuel out of Rebecca, then I would have insisted on it. And so I think the plea deal tells you where I'm at with that.
So do you believe we'll ever find?
No. I don't. I think Jake knows. I don't think he treated that body in a way that the rest of us would have, such that there's some marked grave somewhere that he just needs to point to us. I think he disposed of that body. I think when he got rid of Emmanuel wasn't a baby, he was evidence, and he treated it that way. Nothing further. Did you have anything for the detectives?
Can we get your name again?
Mine?
Yes.
Brandon Smith. I think my last statement will be that we are here today because of what the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department and their homicide team did. Understand that they had to overcome more than most detectives had to in these cases, because the parents of the victim were also the perpetrators of the victim, and they were doing everything they could to play defense against them solving this crime. So we're here because of them, not because of me.
So, Detective, do you have anything you'd like to say?
No, I just like to say how proud I am of all the detectives that stand behind me and the efforts that they put forth in this case. I think every one of us here are a parent, and we understand the importance of what occurred here, and they spent countless hours away from their families in order to fulfill this investigation. And it wasn't only us, it was the San Bernardino County District Attorney's Office and their investigators, the Riverside County Sheriff's Department and their investigators, and the Riverside County District Attorney's Office. And it was definitely a joint effort between all the organizations in order to bring this to a resolution. And as Brandon said, there is no time sentence that's going to bring Emmanuel back, and there's nothing great about this plea deal or what occurred here. It's unfortunate no matter how we describe it or put it.
You folks said that, like, within a day of Mrs. Haro saying that there was a kidnapping, that you found inconsistencies in her statement, or maybe her statement, Jake's statement. Can you talk about those inconsistencies, please?
So this was treated as a kidnapping. On the onsets of it, we all went out to the Big Five. There was probably about 50 search and rescue members, deputies from the Ukaipa station, volunteers who went to search for Emmanuel. And there was things that we found that were a little suspicious at the time, of the deputies at the time. And they contacted my team, which we're from Sheriff's Homicide, but we also deal with all kinds of special involved cases such as this. Once we were involved, we served some search warrants at their residence. We did find some suspicious things that we felt were unusual in a residence. That there would have been a toddler. And we took Jake and Rebecca back for some interviews, and there were inconsistencies in their statements from what they told us to what the facts of the case were. So within probably about 24 hours of the initial report, we determined that we no longer had a kidnapping investigation, that we were dealing with a murder investigation.
What were the inconsistencies?
In Rebecca's statements, particularly the way things occurred when she got to the Big Five, her actions at the Big Five, she was reluctant to talk about certain things. She was confronted with some video. She refused to talk about that video, and ultimately she did not want to continue with that interview. That's the basis of it.
There was a rumor that she had gone into Big Five and asked them about their video cameras, surveillance cameras, that she had scoped it out to try to find out whether there would be surveillance images there.
We have no evidence of that.
What was the best evidence that you guys came up with of what actually happened?
At the day of would be some.
At any point.
There's a tremendous amount of evidence in this case, and I want you to understand that these plea deals are not because of lack of evidence in this case. There is sufficient evidence to take this to a prelim and to a trial. But there's countless evidence in this investigation. I'm a sergeant with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department Specialized Investigation, and it's Nicholas, Nicholas, Clark, Clark.